Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I hit the microphone. In this video, I am going to be repotting this beauty, my big, massive, beautiful pink polka dot. Look, she's big. And for the occasion, I have my pink jammies, my pink microphone, my pink plant, and her pink pot. And all like this same shade of pink. Isn't that incredible? So, of course, in this video, I'm going to be repotting, but also she needs a prune because these leaves at the top are very small. And I don't want that. I want these nice bigger leaves right here. So, and also, look at her flowers. Her beautiful flowers. That means that she is an adult. She's no longer juvenile. She's of age. She's an adult. So, first things first, little disclaimer. I've had plants for many years. Don't do what I do for a lot of things. I have my little, 10-year-old wool scissors, yarn scissors, that I'm going to be using to prune her. I didn't sanitize these. You should sanitize whatever you're using to prune your plants. Because you wouldn't use a used bandage to patch up a wound. You wouldn't. So don't use dirty scissors or shears, whatever you have. I'm doing it because I'm lazy. And you'll notice no drainage. That's a tag. I've also had plants for a long time. Already said that. Repetitive. If you're a beginner, you need a pot with drainage. I started out without drainage pots, but I'm incredible. No, just kidding. So you need drainage. If you are not experienced with plants, definitely have drainage. Don't do what I do. I'm a professional. I work in a greenhouse. I've had plants for over half a decade, okay? So, also, we'll propagate her a little later in the video, but for right now, I'm going to take cuttings. Something I'm going to show you guys how to do for taking cuttings. It's not hard, but you know, it could be nice to know. So, you see this. This is called the node. That's where leaves come out. If you see, that is where these shoots are coming out right here. Between this space right here of the stem, between this node and this node, is called the internode. That's where you're going to cut. So I want to cut a little lower because the leaves start to get a little small, kind of around here-ish. So I'm going to take, hopefully sanitized, scissors. I'm going to make a cut right there. And there, that's my cutting. And then with these, every single one of those nodes is going to shoot out shoots and roots. So with these, I like to take my scissors again and cut off any little flower, any little stem coming off the bottom. I like to do 2 sets of nodes. You know, it might seem scary, but don't worry about it. And there you go. There is your propagation. And right there, that will be roots. That'll shoot out roots, and right there. And we can go over this later, but I'll show you guys how I do it. So I'm going to take more cuttings. The leaves get small around here. And again, I'm going to snip, snip. I'm only going to do 1 node for this one. Oh, there's a flower. Only going to do 1 node because this is a much smaller cutting. So put that in my little vessel. And then for this stem, I'm going to do right here. There we go. There's that. And now cut it. Do 2 sets of nodes. Snip that off, that flower off. There's another flower. And there you go. There is another propagation. So now she's pruned. She's looking bushier. She's looking better. Don't look at the back. She's very sun facing, but that's okay. So for my pot, I'm gonna go, oopsies, with this one. This had succulent soil in it. Oh wow, there's a lot of soil in there. I didn't know that. This is how big, you cannot honestly see it at all, but that's how big the upsize is. It's about an inch-ish. So, and it has drainage. It has an attached saucer, but that's okay. I like the attached saucers because I just think that they're better. I know a lot of people don't like them, and that's okay. You don't have to like everything. So, for my soil, no promotion, but it rhymes with Iroquois, and it's a tropical succulent. No, it's a tropical soil mix. So, also you can use gloves for this. I don't need them, but what I'm doing is I'm just pressing my fingers right there on the sides of the pot. It's okay if it gets a little dirty. That's no problem. Ooh, she popped right out. That's beautiful. Whoa! Look at that. That's beautiful. That's what I find with polka dot plants. Their root systems grow so fast. Like, it is honestly incredible. Like, oh, wow. That is so beautiful. It's like plant porn. But, you know, not much root at the top. You know, I can take all that soil off, but that's okay. You know, sometimes, you know, plants want to grow down. That's where the water is. But shimmy some of that off. And this, I think, yeah, I like slightly massage it a little bit just because, you know, of all the circulating roots and everything. But now, if you'll see all those little roots coming down, those will now grow more. And also, this isn't like super tightly compacted, so it's okay to not break it up a little bit. I just like to break it up a tiny bit. There's little leaves in here, but that's okay. Oh yeah, I have a mat, by the way. So I got mine from Amazon. You know, they're pretty cheap. I think this one was like $13. Yeah, some of the leaves are gonna get in there. I don't care. Fertilizer. It breaks down. There we go. So, a little bit of soil in the bottom of my pot. And I was actually seeing a video today of a woman, she owns a plant shop, and she was saying how to take care of these polka dot plants and how they can be a bit of a nuisance, a bit of a stress. But I have two beautiful ones. I have this one, and I'll put a picture of my white polka dot. I think there's only 3 of them. There's white, red, and pink, I believe. Oh, actually, I think I've seen orange. I don't know. But I find these are an incredibly easy plant. Something about them, they like moisture. So this mix, normally I would add some perlite to my mixes. Not this guy. This guy, I like to keep every component that will hold on to moisture. They like moisture a lot. They like moisture. And I know a lot of people say, oh, these like, you know, more shade. I haven't found that. I have a south facing window, so I get a lot of sun. And I get sun pretty much all day. I put mine essentially where it would get very bright indirect light. The sun is not directly shining on these, but they are still getting a lot of light. Because I had a cutting, and I had it, here, let me show you. There you go. It's about half an inch above the soil, or half an inch below the top of the pot. Anyway, I had one and I put it in very shade because that's, oh, you know, they like shade. Also, you got to remember, winter and summer, you're going to have different UVs. Winter, you're going to have lower UV, so maybe with some plants that more maybe light shade, you know, you'd put them closer to a window in winter and farther from the window in summer. But anyway, I put it in a very shady environment, and it did not do good in the very shady environment at all. It died. It did not like the super shade. So, I think with a lot of plants, sure, trust the advice online, but also, think to yourself, if you are following the directions of something online and your plant is not doing good, then change it. And that's okay to change it because, not all plants, of course, no plant is the same. Lots of plants generally, will have like the same light level, of course. Like you're not gonna, I'm not gonna have one polka dot plant that needs to be in like a dark room with no windows and then another that needs to be like outside in like the Florida sun, But sometimes plant advice online can be a little misleading. It depends on your area. Of course, if you live somewhere that, near the equator that has really high UV majority of the time, it's going to probably want to be in more shade. But like me, I live in Canada. I live north. So mine wants more light. So yeah, but don't fully follow every advice that you see online for a plant. Okay, now I have added soil basically up to the top, and I don't have pre-wet soil. My soil is pretty, like it's drier, it's not hydrophobic, but I do that because this soil will settle. You see that it's less than half an inch, but when I water it in, it will shrink to be about half an inch. So let's go water her in. And there we go, she is watered in. Now we will be doing the propagations. So first off, I already have some that I took probably like over a month ago. These take so long to root, I swear. But, and with me, I also have some rooting hormone. Again, something here. Show you this one. Something else that you should not do is not wear gloves with rooting hormone. It's a hormone. Try not to get it on your skin. I have only used gloves with rooting hormone once. I've used rooting hormone a lot. So, but I'm not going to be using gloves. You should use gloves. So, these ones, only, these are so annoying because only like a couple, I have 4 in here. One of them, I should just gonna throw that away. That one, look at that one. Look at that. That is incredible. Those roots are great. And she's got a flower. There you go. So there's that one. These all have rooting hormone too. And there's this guy with the tiny little, you can't even see it, tiny little sliver of root right there. You literally, it's focusing on me. You can't even see it. Anyway. And then this one, nothing. So I have, of course, these 3 cuttings that we took at the start of the video. These 2 long ones I'm going to put in here with the other long ones. And then this short one I'm going to put right in this. I already have some water. You can see it's already filled basically to the brim. So this long one here, first of all, let me actually just put these ones back in here. Get your also, yeah, look, it's growing secondary roots. There you go. Very cool. This guy, he's doing his thing. Anyway, so I have my cutting and my rooting hormone. So this is a gel rooting hormone. So essentially all you're gonna do is you take it and you just, disclaimer, sorry for the bad audio, but do not dip it straight into the rooting hormone. Don't do what I do because this is my own personal rooting hormone. I don't use this for anything else. Don't do this. Put it in a little dish and use a Q-tip. Dip it. And you see the gel on there. So that node will hopefully definitely activate. This one, it didn't touch the rooting hormone. So maybe it has less of a chance. But anyway, I just slid it in my little jar right here. We're going to do the exact same thing with this one. Again, I'm not. Ooh, that second node also touched the rooting hormone, so that should hopefully definitely activate both nodes. And again, I'm just gonna slip it into my vessel right there. And now, which one was it? That one already had it. So since this one hasn't really done anything, this one has 3 nodes actually. There's 1, 2, and 3. I'm honestly just going to add more rooting hormone. I'm not a professional. I don't know if that's good or not. I'm going to do it anyway. And then I'll put it in my little cup. And then I'll do the same thing with this one. Put it in the rooting hormone. And then have my glass and stick it right in. That's all you're going to do. And, you know, with these, their leaves are very thin, so they lose moisture quick. So sometimes your propagations aren't going to make it. That's okay. It happens. No need to get discouraged about anything. Actually, yeah, see? This one, floppy, sad. She's gone. We're throwing it away because I don't have time for that. So that's how I do propagations for a polka dot plant. You can do them differently. I've also done them in a jar, stick them straight in soil, jar, close the lid, 100% humidity. Those ones both lived. They got a little sad. They kind of dried out like a little bit, but then they were fine. So I just had a closed terrarium like that. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was informative in any way. You know, you learn how to make propagations, you learn how to repot, you learn how to take care of a polka dot plant, whatever it may be. But if you learned anything, that's great. If you didn't, hope you enjoyed. Bye.